I trust you well, I certainly am. I'm actually on my way to a special garden centre today. It's one in Hertfordshire in the UK. It's the middle of December. But this garden centre is a unique garden centre. It's not a garden centre that everyone can go to. In fact, you have to be a member to come here because it's for trade only. So it's early morning and I'm hoping to get some items, some plants for a customer. So this is unlike any other garden centre I've been to. At this garden centre, you actually sit in your car and you drive around and you pick up the plants, which you then pop into your vehicle and you pay for the items at the end of going all the way around. So it's, I think, 25 acres. So here they've got some dogwood. The prices here are without VAT, so VAT will be added to the prices of the stock here. It's a huge garden centre, like I say. Look at this plant here. All the leaves have gone. It is Cornus sanguea, and it's midwinter fire. And this is what they buy this plant for. Look at the colour. Look at the colour on this plant. The leaves have all gone. So this, I think its common name is dogwood. And it looks like fire, doesn't it? So the beauty of this plant here is in the winter, you have these beautiful stems that go from yellow to red. And they really do look like fire. So this is something you can consider in the winter months, when all the leaves have fallen. During the spring, the leaves will come back, and if I'm not mistaken, a good time to coppice or cut them back, to cut the branches back, is February time, if I'm not mistaken, and that will allow it to keep quite stocky, but it will also help to encourage the new growth in here. But this is a lovely plant, I'm sure you will agree. Let's drive along. And then there are different versions of it. So here you've got, when they're planted in multiples, you get this red colour that's going on here. This one is Cornus alba, and it's known as Miracle. Cornus alba Miracle. Not much to look at, but planted in succession, it does give you a lovely feel of this plant. They have some rhododendrons here. And I tell you what, it's always lovely coming to garden centres, even in the middle of winter. Why? Because when you come at this time of year, you can see the plants in their situation. So you'll know what it will look like at this time of year in your garden. So I do encourage people to come to garden centres, even in the winter months, because that's how you can get an idea of what plants will look like in the middle of winter. So they have all the different species, cultivars of rhododendrons in this area, and they sell them in different sizes often as well. Okay, we've got azalea here. So at this time of year, the leaves are sparse, and then they will of course come into full bloom when the weather is warmer in the spring. Got Acer here, Acer palmatum, and I think this one might be, okay, I thought this was blood good actually. Just reaching out the window. It's all but lost its leaves, but that's what you expect from an Acer at this time of year. These are great sizes. Like I said, these are trade prices. For you to purchase these, you could consider quite easily paying twice the price of any of these in the garden centres that are open to the public. This is not open to the public. I have a membership here because of the fact that I am a qualified gardener. And I did the course, as you know, at Capel Manor many years ago. So this one here actually is Acer palmatum atropurium. It gives you the sizes and the price. VAT is yet to be added to that price, and then of course the retailers could then add a price. So I'm just going to drive up and down a couple of these lanes. I am looking actually for some Sarcococca for a customer, and I have found her. There she is. Sarcococca confusa. There are different types, and again at this time of year, I'm going to jump out of the car for this one. Okay, so this is how we shop. They have different sizes. They've got a 2 litre and they've also got 5 litre. So the 2 litre box and the 5 litres. Just to show you the difference. It's always a good idea as well when you are purchasing plants from here to just check and see what the root system looks like. You can see that the roots have come out of this particular pot somewhat, but the roots look healthy. I'm not concerned about that. They're not, totally root bound. I'll be able to get this plant out of this pot completely. Size wise, you can see that actually this plant here, the light green, looks like it'll be new foliage. I'm going to purchase some of these because it is for a customer, and I'm looking for one that has many stems at its base. So just to show you how I do my shopping when it comes to buying plants, I'm looking for one that is not totally root bound. I'm not concerned about this one here, but you can see that it's got lots of healthy stems at its base. So this is going to end up being a great full plant for me. I'm also shopping for the ones that have got the most height, to be honest. Why not go for it? So I've got one there, and I'm going to now have a look inside here and pick out maybe as many as, remember VAT is not added on here, but so I might pick as many as, I don't know, maybe I might need 6 of these. So let's go for it. So what I'm looking for when I purchase one of these is just to check that the stem, where it reaches the compost, that there's no rotting of the stems here. They look very healthy. I can check the base of the pot. Like I said, there's a few roots coming through here, but it's certainly not root bound. Another thing you can do is actually squeeze the pots. Let's see if I can do this with my freezing hands, and just check the root system, that it doesn't look over, that it's not root bound, and that the roots are looking healthy, that they're not dried out. So that's another thing I do recommend when you go to garden centres. Feel free to check. You're paying for them. It's for you to look beautiful in your garden. So do check them. And you can see here it's got a beautiful root system. So I'm happy to purchase that. Here you've got some Pittosporum. They will lose their leaves, as far as I know, for the winter. They will lose their leaves. But you've got the different one. There's this one here, I think it's called, yep, that's it there, Tom Thumb. Sort of with a slightly variegated with dark leaves on it. And then you've got another one, purple, the deep purple looking one. They've got different sizes, the golf ball, all different types, gold star. at these garden centres, this is where trade comes. So this is where the retailers will come, and all the different gardeners, different boroughs around the UK, they'll come to a garden centre such as this to purchase their plants. And again, at this time of year, you can see that a lot of them have lost their leaves, but it's not a problem at all. You plant them now, so long as the ground is not frozen, you can plant them still, and just leave them in this situation and then wait for the spring for them to pop out. This is what the magnolia is looking like at this time of year, and they've got so many different cultivar and different sizes. At this garden centre, they'll have plants in all different stages of development, all different stages of growth. You've got here the different grasses, the different flats. In one of my last videos, I showed you this plant here that I had just trimmed back behind the lavender, the Euronymous rather, Euronymous. And they come in different sizes, the different leaves as well come in different sizes. We have this tiny one as well. So just to give you an idea of different plants that are still showing their colour. Look at that golden yellow one over there. In fact, I'll show you. Okay, so along here we've got different types of bamboo. I have some of this one in my garden. This is the Philostachys nigra. It's the one that has the black cane. And again, they sell them in different pot sizes. Different pot sizes. So these are different types of, we've got the one with the yellow cane. There are some with broad leaves. And not all bamboo are invasive as people often think of them as. They're really not. They can also be contained in pots as well if you have that concern. But they do have different types and styles of leaves. As you can see, it's really the middle of winter, towards the end of December, and they are still holding onto their leaves, but many of them will sort of shed some of their leaves, but maybe not all of them. That's the bamboos. In the winter, it's lovely to see the autumnal colours. And there is another robin in here somewhere. Where is she? There she is, right there. Let me see if I can zoom into her. I think she likes me. So, I don't know the name of these ones. Let's have a look. Oh, hydrangea. Well, of course I know the name of this plant. This is an interesting one. There's one here called Snow Queen. Let's see if I can. Hydrangea. And what's beautiful about them is that you can see these beautiful burgundy, the reds, some of the lime greens. But look at the foliage on this side, for example, and compare it to the foliage here. So although they're the same cultivar, hydrangea, they are different species and they have different elements to them. So that's worth bearing in mind. Buds are super even and they have been shaped into the spheres or the cones. I've never had much success with the buxus, I have to be honest. I planted a whole range of them for a few customers and also for myself, and unfortunately they didn't survive. There is a whole history with the buxus, whereby they suffer from box blight, and certainly I found that to be the situation with me, and in the end we had to dispose of the whole plants. We couldn't compost them down because they really did get annihilated. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, leave it in the comment below. But box blight is not pleasant, absolutely not pleasant. And I think nowadays there are lots of alternative plants that can be used to give that sort of, you know, box hedging. Here they've actually used holly, so it looks as if they've got holly to create that shape. And I think on here they've used a different plants, but they are shaping them up traditionally as a potpourri. Potpourri? It's not potpourri, is it? It's not potpourri. Now this is actually where, probably about 15 years ago or so, I bought our Leylandii, and as you've seen in my garden, they are now in excess of 20 feet tall. But this actually is where we purchased them many moons ago. Now here you've got every kind of Acer, here. I'll show you some names so that you can look up some names perhaps if you're interested. This one here I know, Acer palmatum Ozuki Saki. Osakazuki. Acer palmatum Osakazuki is one that has, the colour sort of reminds me of liquid amber, in that it changes from the green to the yellow and the red. So this is definitely one I have considered having in my garden, and I will think about that's for sure. We have so many different Acers here. Again, at this time of year they've lost their leaves, but they will have leaves again come spring. And they sell them in different sizes. So Orange Dream suggests that the leaves, if they're not orange all year round, but they certainly turn orange perhaps in the autumn. This one, the Hamamelis, the blossoms will actually come out around January, February time, and they have a very beautiful sweet smell. So again, when buying plants, do consider all the different features that plants have to offer. Not just the structure, but maybe what they can offer in springtime or what they can offer in autumn. I think a lot of people, when they go to garden centres or they consider their garden, mostly think about the summertime, but there's so much more to gardening than just the summertime. It's certainly worth thinking about the structure of the plants, you know, like grasses, maybe the sounds that they make, and certainly the smells. Anyway, let's keep going. Ahead of me, can you see these beauties? We have here different Betulus, Jackmontii. I love this plant, I absolutely do. They're white, ghost-like trunks, and look at this one, multi-stemmed. They are incredible. I mean, one of these, this is just for one. Don't forget, you've got to have the VAT and more. But these multi-stemmed ones, a root ball I've got there, the multi-stems. You've got about four stems growing out of this one, and I think that is what their beauty is. It's such an attractive plant, and again, whilst the leaves have gone at this time of year, look at that, it's still fantastic. Imagine having a light at the bottom of that shining up onto the bark, and the light just reflecting off the bark of that. That's a lovely plant. I've always admired that plant there. And here you can see them, they're in tyres, so they're sort of like recycling tyres, and you can see them, they're in like in a Hessian sack. When you purchase this is called like, they sell this in a root ball. So it's not bare root, you can see it's not planted into the ground. This is what they call a root ball. And you just dig the hole in the garden deep and appropriate for the size of the tree, and you plant this as it is. You do not open up the sack or unravel that. You plant it in, and over time the Hessian sack will disintegrate into the soil and allow the roots to just penetrate and grow. So this is another way that they purchase. They're not in pots. Sometimes it works out a little bit more cost effective doing it as this, a root ball, and different councils around the UK would purchase trees in this form, and they'll be planted as root balls. The best time to purchase and plant root balls is actually now in the winter, when they're in a dormant phase. They're in their dormant phase, and now is actually the time to plant these, but the ground is not frozen. Here they've got lots of climbers, so many different ones. You've got hydrangea, actually, is a climbing plant there. Ivy, but this is the one I love, Clematis almondii. And why? Because it's evergreen. So this one actually will keep its leaves, as you can see. And then of course you've got the lovely flowers in spring and summertime. This one also keeps its leaves for the most part. The leaves, as you can see, turn this crimson red. And this one here is a jasmine. So it's a jasmine that actually holds on to its leaves through the winter. But you can see that the leaves turn this sort of crimson colour. Yeah, that's a lovely one. The only thing about this one is that you will have to assist it to climb, because it, unlike the hydrangea and the ivy, it doesn't cling to the buildings naturally, so you'll have to find a way in which to assist it as it grows and climbs. So you've got lots of different climbers here. Our more climbers, or rather what they've done here is that they've espaliered it. They fixed it onto some bamboo, so this can make a lovely screening in the garden. You know, if you're just trying to screen out one part, maybe a barbecue part, or just create a little bit of privacy in one particular area, then what they've done is stick some bamboos into the pots, and then you just got this, this gentle screening off, which is actually quite an effective way of having a live screen in the garden. So like I said, this is a huge nursery, not open to the public. You can just see here how they've done that again, just by putting in some bamboo sticks. And I'll have to try and do one of these actually, maybe in one of my videos, to show you how straightforward it is really, and it will help to manage the cost as well. Because when you buy them ready done, they are quite costly, or they can be quite costly. But this is definitely something, a project that yourself and your family could quite easily do. Okay, let's have a look onto this side. Pyrocanthus. As you know, I love the pyrocanthus because the birds love them, the berries that come out at this time of year. So pyracantha is a lovely plant. They do come in different colours. Usually they come in orange or a deep red. I'm not sure if I've seen it in white or if I'm imagining that as well though, but the berries come in the red and the oranges, but that's a lovely plant. Remember, these ones are the ones that have really huge needle-like thorns, so they can be used as hedging but also as a form of security as well. Next to it is the laurel, and then lots of different hedging here. So I'm in the area where they've got lots and lots of different hedging. These are just roses galore. Every kind of rose that you can imagine they have got here. Every type of rose that you can imagine. However, you have to be patient because they are all in their dormant phase. They've all been pruned back hard. They've cut these back hard, as you can see. Also removing any dead wood. So this will put on new growth in the spring and in the summer. But these roses, they've come and they've gone. Look at some of the names of them. Rosa Sensation, Rosa Mum in a Million, Rosa Silver Anniversary. For me, if I can't find what I'm looking for in this garden centre, then as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist. Look at this. Is this in honour of our Lady Tina Turner? Rosa Simply the Best? Oh well, look at this one here. Sexy Rexy. I'm not sure who that is. We've got Rosa Night Owl over here. There's every type of rose here. We've probably all done this before, and I know it's something I would never do again in my life, I hope. And that's when we go to one of those drive-thru zoos and you see animals all caged up. Well, I might even edit this bit and take this out, but this reminds me of a plant zoo. I call this the plant zoo. I know a lot of human beings like to go in to see animals in the zoo, but I like to see the plants. So I sit in my car and I drive around and I see and I'm inspired by the different animals. Sorry, I'm inspired by the different plants. Over here, a plant I really do love, but I have issues growing them. They just don't seem to do very well in my garden, is an echinacea. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying with this plant, but for some reason, I've not been successful planting these in my garden. Obviously, they are done for the season. These are done for this season, but they will grow back for next year. Also, this one doesn't give me problems. The agapanthus. I'm successful with this plant, and as you've seen in my garden, they grow incredibly well and need very little attention. That's the agapanthus. Okay, let's have a look at this. Do you recognise these plants? Heucheras, yes, and they're in all shades of every colour, from green to pink to red, crimson, orange, lime, burgundy. Look at some of the names. Let me show off some of the names. Marmalade, Regina, Eclipse, Purple Petticoat, I Spy. Yes, at this time of year they look a little worse for wear, but they will bounce back. Oh, this is a beautiful one. Look at this one. Hopscotch. Very beautiful. And look at what they look like collectively. Look at the different colours. See? You don't need the flowers in the garden. You can just use the foliage of the heucheras to create different colours in the garden. Look at the different colours. So many to choose from. Now, I like this section very much. I love ferns. Again, great evergreen plants. Great value for money for the most part. They do well in cooler climates or cooler areas around the garden. But I do love them. There's garden centre is absolutely huge. Like I told you, it's several acres. I think it's 20 or something acres. Okay, I'll miss a couple of these rows out and I'll see what we've got down here. Begonia. So for the most part, most garden centres have what we call trees that are in pots, as you get in most garden centres. That's what you can see here. They've got all their fruit trees here. So we have all types of apples. There are plums here. There's kiwi here. They've got lots of different apples. Cherries. So lots of different fruit trees. And then they've got some trees that have been espaliered when they make them into flat shapes. On the other side, so these are all in pots, for example, whereas on this side, we have plants that are bare root. Do you remember earlier on I showed you the Jackmontii that was in a tyre that was wrapped in a Hessian sack? Well, these ones are what we call bare root. They are simply dug into a trench and left there they are simply dug into a trench. This can only be done during the dormant phase, however, so it can only be done during the winter, but so long as the ground is not frozen. So this is what we call bare root. Then if you want to purchase one of these, in fact, I'm not going to come out the car, it's really very muddy, I'm sorry. What happens is you purchase them and they will dig them out for you and put them into a rubble bag or something like that, and you take them home. But what that means is when they are bare root, the plants can only be bare root bought and sold during the winter months. So it's normally from around late October, November, December, January, February, March time, so long as the ground is not frozen. So what bare root is that the trees are just planted into the soil and left there during the dormant phase because the plant itself is not really doing very much. And then the customer comes, purchases the trees, and you need to plant them immediately. So long as, again, your soil is not frozen, you need to plant these out immediately. The advantage of doing this is that you can do it during the winter months, at the end of the season, but the price is often so much more affordable because the garden centre has not had to plant them up into pots and take care of them and repot them. So it's often a really cost-effective way, especially if you're purchasing trees. Now you can do that as well for apple trees. Shop around to see whether you can get some bare root trees, apples and pears. This is the time that they would sell them, and like I said, the cost, the savings you get is usually really huge. They have got here some rosehip, absolutely. Okay, that's interesting, and they're being sold as bare root as well, so that's quite interesting. I do want to have some rosehip. It might not be today that I come and purchase them though, but they've got rosehip. These are hedging. This is used for hedging often, and these are bundles of 25. So different councils or maybe schools, big buildings will have something like this, and you just plant them out, and they're really cost effective. They really are, and they just grow very quickly, and before you know it, you've got a full hedge. But that's what bare root is. You dig out a trench, you bury in the roots, heal them back and just leave them over the winter. So bare root can only be bought and sold in the winter months when the plant is in its dormant phase. Okay, they also sell things like tree stakes, sleepers, And of course compost as well. So this place is also, in terms of seasonal, they have turf that they normally sell as well. I think you might need to let them know in advance, and then they'll bring them, order it for you. But they have different types of aggregates as well, so shingles, stones, pebbles, that hard landscaping stuff as well. They have some garden pots, not a huge range, but they do have some here as well. Okay, so that was it. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you got something out of this, even if it was just to consider some new plants that perhaps you've not thought of before. But also, just by watching this video, please share it with people that you know and who you think could benefit from watching these videos. They are family friendly, as you know, and your support is so appreciated. Help me grow this channel. Share the energy of being in the garden, and if you've enjoyed this video, please do give me the thumbs up, share, leave me a comment, which plants have you enjoyed watching today, and I will catch you in my next video.